Space. Checked.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Talking Flight Monitor's YouTube channel. Since we last met with you, we had an open source version of TFM, which has now been discontinued for a payware version. And since this is a payware version, we have deployed a task force that helps us do the mundane things like support, social media, website, blog, logistical, scheduling, bug tracking, beta testing, and all of this other kind of stuff that's going to come into play later on this year when TFM is released under the new model. So, given that, we have seriously tore down TFM and we are upgrading it and redesigning it to put into place some things that you guys as users would want to have in it, and hopefully making it a lot better than what it was before. Now, so what was it before and what is it now? So what it was before is an invisible app that had some user interfaces like Windows for things like the MCP boxes or autopilot windows in the case of P3D freeware support and things like that, destination runway settings, that type of thing. And the problem with that model is it is very confusing for new users to actually get started because there is no user interface. There's no way for them to explore around and find out what it is they want to do or can do. So, in the payware version, we are turning it into a single window app, which basically means that whatever features that you have, whether it be settings or destination runway or jump to boxes, airports, database stuff, those will all be contained within inside of a single window. Now, that's not to say that all of these things are going to be visible all at the same time. No. No, that would get too confusing and cluttered. So, each individual feature, for an example, if you bring up the jump to gates box, then that is the only thing displayed at the time. If you bring up settings, then the jump to gates box will disappear and settings will appear. That type of thing. So, we have some
TFM.
cool things to show you after some 15 or 20 million different trials of this video. I had to figure out some FSUI PC problems with 2020, but I think we got them figured out now. So let's open up TFM.
TFM. Talking Flight Monitor window.
And there it is, an empty window. Now, I want to make mention that this is not yet complete, but we were too excited to hold it back, and we wanted to show you what we have so far. And some of the things in here are not yet complete or not yet hooked up to any kind of features, but it'll give you a good idea of what's to come. So, by default right now, I have TFM starting up in an empty environment, which empty environment and all that stuff we can get to when we get to the settings section. But how do people get around?
TFM collapse Alt plus T1
Press Alt and it brings up the menus. So at this point there's a TFM menu and a tools menu.
TFM collapse Alt plus T1 of 2.
So let's go into the TFM menu.
Expanded. Connection collapse C1 of 1.
And we have connection menu.
Expanded. Connect N1 of 3.
So
Talking Flight Monitor window.
Oops. I accidentally hit enter.
TFM collapse Alt expanded. Connection collapse C1 of 1.
So let's go into the connection menu.
Expanded. Connect N1 of free. Connect
And
N1
we
of
have
free.
three things. We have
Disconnect D2 of free.
connect, disconnect,
Connection status C3 of free.
and connection status. So connect and disconnect. One of the main things that TFM is going to do is allow you to choose whether or not you want it to auto connect and disconnect, or whether you want to manually connect or disconnect. And
Disconnection
the
status
thing
C3
that
of free.
people have had issues with before is not being able to tell when TFM is connected or not connected, or have an easy way to do it, because in the previous version you had to go to the system tray icon to look, and it wasn't necessarily very accurate. So,
Disconnect. Connect N1 of
connect and
D2 of free.
disconnect, they're not working right now, but they will be when the release comes out,
Connection status C3 of free.
and in later updates when we come out with these YouTube videos.
Connection status C3 of free.
So connection status, we can go to that,
Connection status edit read only C blank. Not connected.
and right away it says connection status blank not connected. Alright, so I use NVDA, so if we use read current,
Not connected.
it says not connected. Well, what else is in this window?
FSUI PC version edit read only as unknown.
FSUI PC version
MSFS version edit read only M.
and MSFS version, which if you're not connected, you can't tell what versions of the other two you're using. That makes total sense. Well, there's hotkeys in this window. So Alt C is in Charlie.
Connection status edit read only C not
Connection
connected.
status. Alt S is in Sierra.
FSUI PC version
Is
edit read only as
FSUI
unknown.
PC version. And Alt M is in Mary.
MSFS version edit read only M not available.
Is MSFS version. I should say Mike. That's the proper alpha for it. But, you know. So, we're not connected now. We don't have the simulator loaded. So,
Start window. Search L. Microsoft
let's
Flight
load
Simulator.
2020.
Microsoft Flight Simulator. Signing in. Checking for updates. Sensing data. Launching game.
And see what happens. And of course,
Talking flight
we
monitor.
can always
Connection
come
status
back
window.
here and
MSFS version edit read not available.
look, and it says not available. Oh, well, because we're on the wrong field.
Connection status edit read only C not connected.
There we go. Connection not connected. All right.
Talking flight monitor. Connection status.
And we can
Microsoft Flight Simulator dash. Microsoft Flight Simulator dash 1.
Alt tab in between them. Okay, 2020 starting up now. Yeah, this thing will be really cool
Talking
when
flight
it's done. Couple other things that we're looking at doing that's on the table to do in the first release is to have pop-out windows. So basically what that means is say this connection status window, if you wanted it open along with some other things in TFM, then you could go to the menu option for pop-out window, current window, and all it would do is take the connection status screen and put it into a new window. And then you could go back into the main TFM window and choose something else. And you could potentially do that for an infinite number of windows.
Connected.
Oh, and guess what? We just got a notification from TFM that says connected.
Connected.
Cool. So now we can experiment around. Let's FSUI PC version with Alt S Sierra.
FSUI PC version edit read only as 7.412.
Okay, 7.4.12. And 2020 Alt Mike.
MSFS version edit read only MMSFS V0.0.
MSFS version 0. Now, this is a weird, funky bug with 2020 that before you're in a flight, so while you're in the pause menu or while you are in the welcome screens or the preload screens like we are now, it shows version 0. Don't ask me why, but whatever. It's
Microsoft Flight Simulator
insignificant as far as
Flight Simulator
TFM is concerned.
1.37.18.0.
But, so we've gotten to the point where
Talking Flight Monitor. MSFS V0.0.
Here we go.
Connection status edit red only C connected.
We're connected. All right, so we've gotten to the point
Microsoft
where
Flight
we can prove that 2020 is connected. So if I Alt F4
Talking
on it,
Flight Monitor. Connection status window. Connection status edit red only C connected. Not connected.
and it says not connected.
Not connected.
So we're now not connected. What does everything else in this window say? Let's say FSU IPC.
FSU IPC version edit red only is unknown.
It's unknown. Okay.
MSFS version edit red only and not available.
2020 version is not available. Okay. That makes complete sense because we're not connected. So, that is the connection status screen, and that is pretty cool stuff.
TFM collapsed Alt plus T expanded.
And this is all that is in this menu that works.
Expanded.
As I said again, connect and disconnect will work at a later
Connection
update.
collapsed C101. TFM collapsed Alt plus T102.
So,
Tools collapsed Alt
we
plus
have the
O202.
tools menu. So we're going to take this and
Expanded. Airports database
okay, we
A103.
have airports database.
Logs collapsed L2 of 3.
We have a logs submenu.
Settings S3 of 3.
And we have a settings menu.
Logs collapsed.
Let's save airports database for last because that's that's the
Expanded.
That's the thing that takes the cake if you want to put it that way.
Environment.
So in the logs menu at this point we have one item.
Logs collapsed L2 expanded. Runtime environment R101. Runtime environment R101.
At this point in the logs menu we have one item called runtime environment. So we can go to it.
Runtime environment. Document. Heading level 1 runtime environment.
And it's a web page. So what does this web page do? It shows you all of the runtime environments stuff that goes along with TFM. You know, what does it use to run, what version numbers, file paths, and all this other kind of stuff. So we can take a little bit of a look through it and see what we have. This is going to be good for tech support. If you have tech support requests, you know, one of us may ask you to go to runtime environment and copy and paste it into a support ticket. So this is where you would go.
Heading level 1 runtime environment. Heading level 1 runtime environment. List with 3 items. Bullet talking flight monitor 1.0.0.0.
Alright, so TFM version number at this point is 1.0.
Bullet.net version. .net 8.0.5.
.net version, which is really handy. You know, at this point mine is 8.0.5. Goes good to know what version of .net you're running off of. This version of TFM requires a minimum of 8.
Bullet memory usage 298 MB.
Memory usage. So this is good because, you know, if you know how much memory TFM is using at the current minute, then we can tell if you're running out of memory.
Heading level 1 simulators.
Alright, so simulators.
List with 2 items. Bullet P3D loaded. False.
P3D loaded. No, we don't support P3D, and that'll be deprecated by the time we get to release.
Out of list. Heading level 1 file paths. List with 2 items. Bullet MSFS loaded. False.
Oh, and there's MSFS is not loaded, so it says false.
Out of list. Heading level 1 file paths.
File path.
List with 3 items. Bullet install path. C. Users aboard documents GitHub talking flight monitor source bin debug net 8.0 Windows TFM.dll. Bullet make runways output path. C. Users aboard app data local
Make
TFM
runways output
MSFS.
path.
Bullet airports database path. C. Users aboard app data local TFM airports database MSFS.
Path.
Out of list heading level 1 dependencies 80.
And then we have dependencies, which is technical things, but it gives all of the source code libraries we use and what version they are. Right now TFM is making use of 80 of them.
List with 80 items. Bullet system.private.core lib 8.0.0.0.
just to give you an idea of one. If you're interested, you can go through and look through the list, but that will come in handy for us with tech support. All
TFM
right.
collapse alt plus T1 of 2. Tools collapse alt plus O2 of 2.
So
Expanded.
if
Airports
we
database A1
go
of 3. Logs collapse L2 of 3. Settings S3 of 3.
to settings, we could spend some time in settings. So let's go to it.
Category preview. Mapping 1 of 8 level 1. Mapping 1 of 8 level 1.
All right, there's some things that are quite a bit different than this, than the last time we had done anything with
Mapping.
it. First of all, we have different things that have changed. So
Connection. Mapping 1 of 8
general
level 1.
has changed to mapping.
Connection 2 of 8 level 1.
We've added a connection settings category.
Assistive technology 3 of 8 level 1.
Output's been renamed to assistive technology.
Sound 4 of 8 level 1. Flight planning 5 of 8 level 1.
SimBrief has been renamed to flight planning.
Aircraft 6 of 8 level 1. User interface 7 of 8 level 1.
We have a new user interface category.
PMDG collapse state of 8 level 1.
And then we have the PMDG offsets, automatic announcements. I won't go through all of them.
Mapping 1 of 8 level 1.
I'll go through the more newer ones.
Mapping.
So, in mapping,
GeoNames username. Edit export.
we have the standard.
Get a GeoNames account. Link.
That's new. Get a GeoNames account.
Bing Maps API key. Edit NPTICZHPIEJ. Get a Bing Maps API key.
And then get a Bing Maps API key link. And if you go to it,
BingBooksportal.com. Google Chrome. Bing Maps Dev Center. Bing Maps Dev Center. Google
takes
Chrome.
you to the Dev Center to get one.
Talking flight monitor. Connection status. Runtime. Save button S.
Alright, and then you
Find
have
settings.
save.
Edit control plus E blank.
Oh, find. Yeah, we can cover that
Clear search
here in a
results
little
button.
bit.
Control plus C. Category
Alright.
preview. Mapping 1 of 8 level 1. Connection 2 of 8 level 1.
Connection status. Alright.
Automatically announce when TFM connects or disconnects from the simulator. Checkbox checked. Auto connect to the simulator. Checkbox checked.
Yeah, those are the two new settings we talked about earlier.
Save button S. Find clear search results button. Control plus C. Category preview. Assistive technology 3 of 8 level 1.
Assistive technology is pretty much the
Select speech
same.
output. Combo box screen reader. SAPI speech rate. Negative numbers equals slower than normal speech rate. Slider 4. Output TFM messages to Braille display. Checkbox not checked. Save button S.
So
Output
the
TFM
fun
SAPI
thing
speech
about
rate.
this
Negative numbers equals slower than normal speech rate.
SAPI
Slider 4.
speech rate slider is it now works.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And we can be goofy and make them talk really slow.
Minus 10.
Slower. Yeah. Alright.
Category preview. Assistive sound 4 of 8 level 1. Flight planning
Sound
sound
is
4
the
of 8. Flight
same.
planning 5 of 8 level 1.
Flight
Enable
planning.
SimBrief support checkbox checked. SimBrief user ID.
That's
Edit plan.
pretty much the same.
Validate SimBrief user ID button. Read flight following information checkbox checked. Flight following interval in minutes edit 10. Save button S. Find settings. Edit control plus E blank. Category preview. Flight plan aircraft 6 of 8 level 1. Periodically announce aircraft instrument values and other environmental changes. Checkbox checked.
Aircraft is about the same.
Automatically announce the current altitude every 1,000 feet. Checkbox checked. Use the SAPI speech engine when automatically announcing the aircraft's current position on the hills. Checkbox checked. Automatically announce hills position information on final approach to the destination airport. Checkbox checked. Automatically announce hills information every how many seconds? Edit 20. Periodically announce ground speed while on ground. Checkbox checked. Periodically read glide slope altitude on approach. Checkbox checked. Periodically read localizer offset on approach. Checkbox checked. Attitude mode output type. Combo box speech collapsed. Save button S.
So a
Find
lot of
settings.
these
Clear search, reset category.
settings
Periodically
are
announce
the
aircraft
same.
instrument
They've
values.
been rearranged. And
Category preview.
they
Aircraft 6 of 8 level 1.
are also more self-explanatory.
Aircraft. User interface 7 of 8 level 1.
User interface, this is
Speech
gonna,
history entries to keep edit 50. Font name to use for TFM user interface.
You
Combo
can
box
change-
collapsed. Font size to use for TFM user interface. Combo box
the
22
font name
collapsed.
and the font size used for TFM's interface. Good for those people who have some site but need large print
What to display when TFM starts.
or high contrast.
Font. What to display when TFM starts. Combo box empty collapsed.
Okay, here's the fun one. What to display when TFM starts. I have it set to empty.
Airports database.
At this point, choices are airports database,
Connection status. Runtime
connection
environment.
status, runtime environment,
Settings.
and settings.
Empty.
I'll leave it on empty so you can decide what home screen you want to use.
Save button S. Find clear search results button. Control plus C. Category preview. User interface 7 of 8 level 1.
Let's see.
PMDG collapse state of 8 level 1.
And PMDG, okay.
Expanded.
So we can
Level
expand
2
that.
PMDG 737 collapsed 1 of 1.
And some of the newer things in here, I'll just take a brief tab through this.
Automatically announce changes in MCP altitude, speed, heading, and vertical speed. Checkbox checked. Automatically announce changes in takeoff flaps. Checkbox checked. Automatically announce changes in landing flaps.
And these are all new.
Automatically announce changes in V1 speed. Checkbox checked. Automatically announce changes in VR speed. Checkbox checked. Automatically announce changes in V2 speed. Checkbox checked. Automatically announce changes in VREF speeds. Checkbox checked. Automatically announce changes in cruising altitude. Checkbox checked. Automatically announce changes in landing altitude. Checkbox checked. Automatically announce changes in transition altitude. Checkbox checked. Automatically announce changes in transition level. Checkbox checked. Automatically announce when the CDU performance pages is complete or incomplete. Checkbox checked. Announce when CDU number 1 is ready for input. Checkbox checked. Announce when CDU number 2 is ready for input. Checkbox not checked. Save button S.
Alright, so
Category preview. PMDG
if
700
we
expanded.
expand,
Level 3 overhead collapsed 1 of 7. Control stand collapsed 2 of 7 level 3.
we have
3 of 7 level. Glare shield collapsed 4 of 7 level 3. Forward 5 of
all
7
of
level 3.
these
Lower forward 6 of 7
settings
level.
done.
Door 7 of 7 level 3.
Here's a new one, doors.
Forward entry checkbox checked. Forward service checkbox checked. Air stair checkbox checked. Left forward over wing checkbox checked. Right forward over wing checkbox checked. Forward cargo checkbox
So
checked.
it'll tell you when they're
Equipment
opened or
checked.
closed.
Left aft over wing checkbox checked. Right aft over wing checkbox checked. Aft cargo checkbox checked. Aft entry checkbox checked. Aft service checkbox checked.
Which
Save
is
button S.
handy because in 2020 it doesn't
Find settings.
automatically
Edit
do
control.
that.
Clear search results button. Control plus C.
Alright,
Category preview. Door 7 of 7 level 1 mapping 1 of 8.
so let me
Level 3
close
level
this.
level 1
There we go.
PMDG collapsed. Mapping 1 of 8.
Make it a little cleaner.
Mapping.
Alright, so we can press
Find
Control
settings.
E
Edit control plus E blank.
and find settings. Well, okay, let's look for
GPS. Category
GPS.
preview. Adhere 1 of 1 level 1.
And there we go.
IRS display selector checkbox checked. IRS display switch checkbox checked. IRS GPS light checkbox checked.
Oh, there's our GPS right
Left
there.
IRS light check. Find settings.
We
Edit
can
control plus E GPS. FP.
Look for
V. Category preview. Adhere 1 of 2 level 1.
any version of nav, navigation, navaid.
Navigation displays 2 of 2 level 1. Adhere 1 of 2 level 1.
And there's our two settings. Windows.
Find settings. Edit control plus V.
So we can clear search results
Clear search results button. Control plus C.
by pressing the button or pressing
Category
Control
preview.
C.
Mapping 1 of 8 level 1. Find set.
Or-
Reset category order button. Control plus R.
Reset category order.
Category preview. Mapping.
It's Control R. We'll cover that here right now.
Mapping.
So, what we can do is like what we used to do in the panels, the 737 panels, we can rearrange the order in which these panels appear, or in this case, settings categories. In this tree view, by pressing either Control Up or Control Down.
Mapping.
So we'll take mapping and we'll move it down 1.
Mapping move down.
And we can confirm it by going
Connection
back
1 of 8
up
level
to
1.
the top, and connection takes its place.
PMDG.
If you like
select
to
level 1.
change PMDG settings a lot,
PMDG moved up.
let's move PMDG up to the top.
PMDG moved up. PMDG moved up. PMDG moved up. Could not move PMDG.
Now, we tried to move PMDG past the first thing in this
Connection 2 of 8 level 1.
tree, and it
PMDG
told us
collapsed
we
1 of 8
couldn't
level
do
1.
it.
User interface 8 of 8 level 1.
So now
PMDG
PMDG is up at the top. What do we want to do if we want to keep this? So we can do one or two things. We can press Control Shift S as in Sierra.
Order saved.
It says order saved. Or
TFM expanded. Connection collapsed.
you can go to the TFM menu,
Reset collapse. Save collapse S2 of expanded.
go to the save
Category order C,
menu,
Control plus Shift plus S1 of 2. TFM settings T Control plus S. Category order C Control plus Shift plus S1 of
and
2.
press enter on.
Order saved. Category preview.
Category
PMDG
order.
collapse.
Alright. So to verify that this
Have HDR
worked, we
control.
could shut TFM down.
Desktop list. TFM dev build.
We can go back into it.
Talking flight monitor window.
Go to Alt
Airports
O for
database A1
tools.
of 3. Air S.
S
Category
for
preview.
settings.
PMDG collapse 1 of 8 level 1.
And PMDG
collapse
is
1 of 8
at the
level 1.
top where we had last asked it to be. Cool. Well, let's say I don't like this anymore. I want to restart.
Connection 1 of 8 level 1.
Just press Control R and then Control Shift S as in
Order
Sierra
saved.
to resave. And you're back at the beginning. Or
TFM expand.
You
Reset
can go
collapse
to the
star 3 of 3.
TFM menu with Alt F. I think
TFM
it's
collapse
Alt
alt
F.
plus T1 of 2.
No, Alt T.
Expanded.
Sorry.
Reset collapse star 3 of 3.
Go to the Reset menu
Expanded. Category order C control plus R1 of
and
2.
press Enter
Category order
on
C control plus R1 of 2.
Category Order.
TFM settings T control plus T2 of 2.
This is dangerous. Reset TFM settings.
Reset
So,
collapse star 3. TFM collapse category preview.
let's say you change a setting.
Map assistive techno sound 4 of 8 flight sound, mapping 2 of 8 connection 1 of 8 level
I'll do
automatically
this.
announce when TFM connects or disconnects from the simulator. Checkbox checked.
I'll
Not
uncheck
checked.
that, and
Auto save button S.
I can either press the save button.
Setting
Okay.
saved.
I can press Control S, as in Sierra,
Setting saved.
or
TFM expanded. Connection
go to the
reset collapse
TFM
star 3
menu.
of save collapse expanded. TFM settings T control plus S2 of 2.
Go to Save menu
Setting saved.
and hit
Save
Enter
button
on
S.
Save Settings. Now, a dangerous one. Control D.
Reset settings. Dialog. Yes button Alt plus Y.
Reset Settings.
No button Alt plus N. Really reset TFM settings? Everything will be permanently lost. No next. No button Alt plus N.
No, I don't want to.
Talking flight monitor. 7.
I do not want to reset settings, but in the event it's there, just answer yes to the question and it will reset itself.
TFM expand reset save collapse S2 of 2.
So,
TFM collapse save but
another cool thing that we have here is F6
category
key,
preview. Connection 1 of 8 level 1.
which will
Automatically announce when TFM connects or disconnects from the
cycle
simulator. Checkbox not checked.
between each of the settings
Category
panes
preview. Connection 1 of 8 level 1.
and the tree view. So,
Mapping 2 of 8 level 1.
I'll go to mapping for an example, press
Name
F6,
username. Edit Orca.
and it will take me to the first setting in there.
Category preview. Mapping 2
Press
of 8
it
level
again,
1.
and it will take me back to the tree view. Now,
Find settings. Edit control plus E blank.
in the event that I'm not in the tree view or I'm not in the settings pane, for an example, now I'm in the edit field for search.
Category preview. Mapping 2 of 8
If I
level 1.
press F6, it will automatically take me back to the settings tree. And there's a lot of settings in here. I think there's over 510 different settings. Most of those are 737 offsets. But
Connection 1 of 8 level.
it will grow larger and larger as we add more airplanes. So this is the settings window, and
TFM collapse alt plus
now,
tools collapse alt plus O2 expanded. Airports database A1 of 3.
without
Airports
further
database A1 of 3.
ado,
Total airports and airports database edit read only A0.
the airports database. So, the airports database is where TFM and other add-ons get airport information like gates and runways and taxiways and helipads and a whole bunch of other things. And so you have to build the database, and you have to use a tool called Make Runways that FSUI PC group puts out for that particular purpose. And to make all sakes easy, using Make Runways can be quite complicated because there's you have to run it as an administrator. You have to run it in a folder of your choice. Then you have to go and let whatever app you're going to use make use of it and point it there and all this other stuff. That's what TFM used to do. You used to have to make runways yourself, go into TFM, point it there, press the build database button, restart TFM, and hopefully we're good to go. In the preview version, the last one, you would turn on the keyboard mode, which by the way does not exist anymore. And you would press Control A, and it would bring up the scenery builder. You would choose MSFS, press OK, and it would pop up Make Runways. All right, fast forward to this airport's database. Right now, we're sitting on total number of airports, 0.
Total runways, edit read only R0.
Total runways, 0.
Database up to date, edit read only you know.
Database is up to date? No.
Build progress, edit read only P airports database not yet loaded.
Progress. Build progress. And it says airports database is not yet loaded.
Elapsed time, edit read only E blank.
And elapsed time.
Check status button C.
There's a check status button.
Build database button D.
And a build database button.
Total airports and airports database edit read only A0.
Alright, so what happens if we build the database? Now,
TFM collapse
before we do that,
TFM collapse alt tools collapse
the menus are currently
TFM collapse alt total airports and airports database edit read only A0. Total airports and airports database.
So let's build the database. Press Alt B as in Bravo.
Build progress edit read only P installing required executables.
And for
building database.
And there we go. And for a brief minute, we saw installing required executables, and now we see
building database.
Building database. If we press Alt E as in Echo.
Elapsed time edit read only E0000 17.
We have an elapsed time. That way, if the timer is spinning, it's working. And it gives you a good idea how long it's going to take for you to do the next one. You know, first one, you might not necessarily know how long it's going to take, but after the first one, you'll have a rough idea. So if it takes any longer than that, could possibly be a problem. If it takes a lot shorter than that, most likely there could be a problem.
55.
So we're up at the 15 seconds right now. So to go through,
System Alt plus space.
We can't access the TFM menu or the Tools menu
Elapsed time edit read only
until this build process is done, because we don't want to accidentally cancel it. So,
total airports and airports database edit read only A0.
And if you notice, there
elapsed time edit read only E00
check status button and build database buttons are no longer available. And again, that's to prevent accidental destruction of the database being built at the time.
Build progress edit read only.
Oh, and if you haven't noticed, where is Make Runways? Make Runways is not here. And so the answer to that is TFM was able to build its own user interface around this particular process. It still uses Make Runways, but we found a way to be able to build our own user interface around it.
Elapsed time edit.
And for the future point, it will let us put a cancel button in there, or back up and restore your current database. And if you choose to cancel, do you want your current database back, your current backup restored? Or do you just want to be left with a blank slate? So, going through this,
0002 52.
Okay, we're about 3 minutes in. So Alt P is in Papa.
Build progress edit read only P building database.
Is build progress. Alt E
elapsed time edit read only E00
as
03 02.
Echo is elapsed time.
Total airports and airports database edit read only A0.
Total airports and database is Alt A as an alpha, and
total runways edit read only R0.
Total runways is Alt R as in Romeo. So I know for a fact, because I've done this for testing and all that kind of stuff, it takes about 25 minutes to finish. And so based on the elapsed timer.
Elapsed time edit read only E0003 43.
I have 3 hours, yeah. What am I thinking? I have roughly 24 minutes left.
0003
So,
56.
what happens if we Alt F4?
Cancel airports database build process. Dialog. Yes button Alt plus Y. No button Alt plus N. Are you sure? TFM is still building the airports database. If you leave now, the build process will terminate. You will have to start the build process from the beginning the next time. No next. No button Alt plus N.
And so, if I say no,
Talk in flight monitor. Settings. Airports database window. Elapsed time edit read only E0004 19.
it just keeps going on with whatever it was doing. No big deal. On the other hand, if I said yes, which
System
we'll
mode.
do in a
Elapsed time
minute,
edit.
I'm not going to bore you with sitting around for 25 minutes while this builds, because this is the end of what we have so far. So we will end with an Alt F4 and
Build progress edit read only P building
build progress window, the total airports window field, and the total runways field. Once this is done, the progress window, the progress
Building database.
field here that says building database will say something like database built successfully, X number of airports found. And it will show that number up in the total number of airports, and total number of runways will be listed too. So, and of course your timer will stop. So if we
Cancel airports database build process. Dialog.
Alt
Yes button Alt plus Y.
F4 and we say yes,
As HDR control.
boom, gone. And of course I'll have to start
Desktop
over,
list.
but TFM is now closed. And this is the end of what we have so far. I mean, it's a lot. There's a lot to go. But hopefully, based on what you see, you'll like what we have in the future. Again, if you like TFM's content here, don't forget to press the subscribe button and the notification bell to get notified when we have new updates in the form of YouTube videos. If you need to get help and support, go to talkingflightmonitor.com and click the contact link, and someone will get back with you as soon as possible. If necessary, there is also an email address, info@talkingflightmonitor.com. Again, info@talkingflightmonitor.com. And we hope to see you
Desktop 2. Ops.
on your next flight.
Stop recording.